Hi guys, Matt Hancock's here. Welcome to your second video, which is on movement that matters. So we're going to be explaining the type of exercise that you are going to be doing whilst you're doing this program, and just mention obviously the DVD that you have. First up, what we're going to do is going to review the last video, which was based around cellular health and your goal setting, and then we'll get into today's video and get into the nuts and bolts of that one. Okay, so hopefully what you've taken from the first video is that we're looking at weight loss from a completely different view than perhaps a lot of mainstream diets, diet books and diet clubs out there. Okay, because what we're doing is we're directing all our weight loss, all our fat loss, by improving your health, and in particular your health at a cellular level. Now, what we found from years of research with some of the best nutritional therapists and fitness coaches around is that many health issues are the result of two very interconnected problems. These being nutritional deficiency, okay, from poor diet and convenience food, and toxic overload. So we're going to just go into toxic overload now, only briefly, because obviously video one was in depth. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, I'd go back and look at video one now, before going into this one. But hopefully you have had a chance to look through it. So we're not going to dwell on this too much. But basically, your body is on constant attack from lots and lots of toxins. Okay, these are unfortunately in our modern world, we hold in our bodies more industrial chemicals now than we used to do. These are chemicals in our food, environment pollutants, in toiletries and household products, the food sort of drugs, chemicals in the foods that we eat, and these chemicals impact on our general health, and they have a role to play really in preventing continued weight loss and achieving optimum health. And this is what we have found in the last couple of years, where we've been looking into cellular health as a form of weight loss and boosting optimum health and vitality. So the main problem is that most of these chemicals are stored in the fat cells, and so when people go on a calorie restricted regime, that has been kind of the trend in the past, they'll indeed lose weight. Generally it's muscle and water, but they might lose a little bit of fat for a while. But what happens is the metabolism will slow down, protect their system from losing more fat, as this fat has been protecting the nervous system and the organs from the toxic buildup. Okay, so all the toxins are stored in the fat membrane of the cell, and that's to protect your nervous system. So when the fat begins to disappear due to the calorie restriction, okay, and nothing has been done about the driving out the toxicity, locating the fat, then the body bounces back for no apparent reason. They will begin to put on more fat or body fat, leaving the dieter very, very frustrated and demotivated. So you kind of get this rebound effect. So here you've got a person who's a little bit overweight with some toxins that are stored in the fat cells. They go on a diet, and what happens is you have this higher concentration of toxins in the body. So then your body goes into an emergency fat production to rid the body of these impurities and take them back into the fat cells, and you get this big weight gain. Okay, and this may have happened to you in the past. Which will help explain why you get to a certain point before putting the weight back on again. Now, I'm not saying it's all toxic overload, because obviously, some of these diets are so calorie restrictive that eventually you will have to eat again, but you tend to, after restricting your calories so much, you'll tend to just binge on the wrong sort of foods, and so then you'll create a massive rebound where you can often put all the weight you've lost back on, and more than often than not, half that weight or that whole weight again. So you can often lose a stone but then be 2 stone heavier 6 months to a year down the line. So, you know, we're aware that people need to release this toxic build-up when, when losing weight, and so this is why we cleanse as opposed to diet. Yeah. So, because what happens when you cleanse is that you're losing weight, but you're also ridding the body of its toxins, so you don't get the rebound effect. So it means maintenance is a lot easier to manage, and so you'll just look a hell of a lot healthier. You'll have much more vitality and zest for life because you haven't got these toxins kind of running you down, and you won't bounce back with all this fat production. Now, how do you know if you're toxic? Well, everybody who is feeling a little bit run down, finding they're a little bit demotivated, have cold or flu-like symptoms, feel like it's dragging you down a little bit, you've got no get up and go. These are all symptoms, classic symptoms really, of accumulating toxicity within the body. And as soon as you kind of go on this cleanse, so the first 14 days of this program where you're kind of eliminating some of your foods and going on through the cleanse protocol, you'll start to feel so much better. You'll just have much more energy. Is the number one thing we find with people. So this is really why we prefer, this is the whole reason about weight loss, and the classic rebound you get from dieting is the number one reason why we use the cleanse formula like we do. So this allows your excretory organs, so your liver, your kidneys, your skin, your gastrointestinal tract, to perform and get rid of the toxic buildup. Now, we do have an integral waste disposal system, and generally day to day, year after year, it works pretty well at getting out the rubbish. But when we are overburdened with or overrun with toxicity, then these organs also get plagued with overrun with toxicity, and so they don't perform to their very best. And so that's why we with the cleanse protocol, the healthy starter pack, you're going to give those organs the nourishment that they need to function properly. Okay. So cleansing is important, right? It opens up the exit pathways to release these toxins. Yeah. So the body then has no need to keep hold of the body fat it is using to protect the nervous system, and so it will start to release fat, and you'll get a good result. Pretty quickly. You'll see that you'll lose weight around your middle. You'll be less bloated. You'll lose inches very quickly on this program. Okay. So you've got your start. You'll be starting your cleanse now, your cleanse protocol. So you'll be taking the healthy starter pack, so 5 tablets 3 times a day with your liquid chlorophyll, and then after the 10 days of using this, you have a 4-day wind down, 10-day cleanse, and then on day 15 you'll start with your probiotic. Okay, great stuff. So this is just obviously in your success journals, and there's a little notes page. You can just make a note of what it's all about, just to help you really get a good understanding of what it's all about. Basically, there's a cell membrane, okay, the fat membrane of your cell. This is where all the toxins, pollutants, poisons are stored to protect your nervous system. And what we need to do is we need to eliminate some of the fat storage triggers, as well as cleanse, to really help you shift some weight pretty quickly. Okay, so I've gone through all the reasons of this in video 1, so I'm not going to dwell on that now. And obviously, in addition, you want to add in some olive oil, coconut oils, and all those things that are going to help your body shift fat. But again, I've explained that already. Okay, so fundamentally what we want is a nice, healthy, strong body. Okay, in order to get there, what we need to do is look at improving our cellular health. Once we've improved our cellular health, okay, that means that we're going to improve the health of our tissues, which fundamentally means we're going to improve the health of our organs, which gives us a healthy body. So in order to get to this part, we need to be working right on here at our cellular level. Hopefully that all makes sense to you, and that really sums up what the toxic overload is and why that's its effect on our poor health. Okay, So the next stage of improving our health obviously comes from nutritional deficiency. Now, you've got your nutritional manuals, okay? Hopefully you've had a chance to read through them and start eating, eliminating some of the bad foods, and we should be well on the way to getting ready to start our cleanse protocol now. So much of what you'll learn throughout this journey, okay, will probably contradict what you've heard or read in previous diets or at the press, okay? This intention is to allow you to get a deeper level of understanding so that you can see through the veil of illusion that exists in the marketplace with fancy marketing campaigns and false promises, and to tell you the truth about health, okay, which ultimately leads to weight loss, health and performance. So this will mean that you'll need to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. You're going to be shopping for food a little bit differently. You're going to become more conscious of what you put into your body on a daily basis. You're going to need to prepare for your day a little better and make better choices out in the world so that you can really sort of take charge of your health. Now, it will seem like there's quite a lot to it at first, but I assure you that it only takes 4 weeks for those habits to then to form. Okay, so what we've got to do is eliminate some of these bad habits that you've accumulated over the years and replace them with good habits, and it will take the full 4 weeks of this journey, but once you get there, you'll be able to use that as a springboard for future health, for and your vitality. So it's I don't expect you to grasp everything straight away. You just follow the process. By the end of the 28 days, you're going to feel amazing. You're going to be ready to take hold of life a whole lot better than you currently do. Alright, so the nutrition manual, okay, this is your nutrition Bible, yeah? It's your guide and helping hand to achieving health and vitality. It's packed full of really good information, shopping list, recipes, meal suggestions, and really kind of help you get to the very best that you can be. Okay, so the other thing we looked at in video 1 was obviously goal setting. Now, really to achieve anything worthwhile in life, you need to set a goal, okay? And weight loss is really no exception, all right? You don't go to a train station to buy a ticket without knowing your destination, okay? You must get a goal in mind and actually write it down and use your success journals to do your long and short-term goals, all right? But, what you have to remember is they have to be SMART goals. They have to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and you have to put an end time on them, a time frame on them. It's no good saying, I want to be half a stone lighter. Okay? It means very, very little when you're looking to improve your life. You have to set a goal. You have to visualize yourself, further down the line with that goal already achieved and how that's improved your life because of it. Okay? So, for instance, if you wanted to drop 2 dress sizes, you have to visualize yourself 2 sizes smaller. You have to write it down a time. So you say, right, you write the date, which is in 28 days time. I am 2 sizes smaller than I am now, so it might be that you go down to size 12. So in 28 days I am size 12, and I'm going out for a meal with my friends feeling absolutely confident and fantastic. Those are the sort of goals that you want to be writing. Okay. Another really good one is to actually purchase an item of clothing or get out of your wardrobe an item of clothing that at the moment is too small for you, and stick it up on the outside of your wardrobe so you see it every day, and use that as a measure to actually try that item of clothing on every week. Okay, the same day, the same time, every week. Try it on and see how much closer you're getting to getting that on and feeling comfortable. If it is an item of clothing, I suggest you book a date. Book a date with your partner or your husband or your wife. Okay, book a date to go out for a meal and know that you're going to wear that item of clothing on that night, and it just makes your goals more real. Okay, so here's another example. Okay, it is now June the 21st. The day of my holiday. I feel fabulous and confident in my swimwear or my bikini on the beach on our holiday. I'm now 60 kg and fit into size 12 jeans. You know, something like that just makes everything tight. So you've got a date in mind, you've got what you're wearing, how you're feeling, and that's that. All right. So make sure that you get your goal statement written down as well as you possibly can. Now remember, we have you know, you need a support network on this journey. Okay, tell your friends, tell your partners what you're doing. Okay, you need that support network. For you guys, what we've got, you will get a link, but we've got a forum where you're getting these videos, and also you'll be able to talk to me and talk to each other and share your views on this journey. Because you know, if I can't get back to you, it might be that one of the other members on this group will get back to you in time. And I think this is really a key part of the dynamic of this whole group program, and I'll be explaining a bit more about that in due course. So for today's session then, we're going to be talking about movement that matters. Okay, now most of you probably have been on a diet before and have looked at you know, probably cutting down your calories, or you know, eating more vegetables and fruits, and then going to the gym and probably spending a lot of time on the cardiovascular machines, so the treadmills, the cross trainers, the bikes, in a quest to lose weight. Well, I have to tell you that that's a long-winded approach to do it. And actually, if you do lots of endurance work or steady weight cardiovascular work, you know, it actually uses muscle for fuel. So you end up, your metabolism ends up slowing down as opposed to speeding up, which is what we're trying to do. Okay, we want you to become, the whole idea of this program is that it's a fat furnace. Okay, we want you to be burning fat. We want your metabolism absolutely stoked. So I'm going to explain how we do that. First, I'm going to go through the state of the UK and the weight issue that we have. Right now, a quarter of adults are obese in the UK, and I think more alarming is that 1 in 10 children aged 2 to 10 are actually obese. So you know, how's that happening? It's purely down to nutrition and the fact that we're not as active as we once were. Yeah, we are sat down for the majority of the day. We're sat down in our car. We're sat down at breakfast. Then we get in our car. We sit down and take the kids to school, and we go to work, where we're sat down at the office. Okay. Then we get back in our car. Then we go home and sit on the sofa. You know, we are nowhere near as active as we were, and the type of foods we're eating obviously are slowing down our whole metabolic process. So, not great. So it has a severe impact on people's health. Okay, obviously being overweight, with inflammation, it's have the risk of type 2 diabetes, cancer, heart and liver disease. I think you know, a lot of this is basically not just the foods we're eating, but this toxic overload we're talking about. And there's a book by Philip Day. Let me just try and find what it's called. Oh yeah, it's called Health Wars. You can track that down. It's quite good. Philip Day, Health Wars. But basically, he put it quite succinctly when he said that, you know, nutritional or metabolic deficiency, okay, diseases are toxin-related sicknesses, okay, and these are the main killers of humanity today. So it's important to realise that it's not cancer, heart disease, diabetes, you know, or one of these sort of myriad of other illnesses which inflict us that are the real problem. Okay, they're just the symptoms of the real issue, which is toxic overload, nutritional deficiency. Okay, and that's because disease manifests in inflammation, and toxic overload and nutritional deficiency causes inflammation, and this causes us to be sick and ill, and that's why you know, when we look at the last paragraph there and the burden on the NHS, you know, we're talking obesity alone is an estimated 4.2 billion per year. Okay, and this is forecast to double by 2050 if we carry on as we are. So, you know, whatever we're doing at the moment is failing miserably, and we need to change things up. And you know, I'm so excited for you guys to be taken on this journey, so I can share some of the knowledge that I've gained over the years, and you know, change the way you think about food and change the way you think about your health, and you can pass that on to your children and friends, and we can just do that little bit to really help the health of the nation. Okay, it's one of my goals, is just to get this message out to as many people as I possibly can, and you guys are helping with that. So again, thank you so much for doing this program with me. Okay, so I haven't got the obesity trends of the UK in sort of graphical representation. I have got the US, which gives you a good idea of what's happening, because we are following the US very, very quickly with our obesity, and we're nearly catching them up, right? I mean, our child obesity is already the highest in Europe, so this will just give you an idea. So this is 1985, and what it's representing is that, the dark blue here is is the number of population, so 10 to 14% of the population in those states that are 30 pounds overweight, or have a BMI of greater than 30. So that's 1985. The light blue is less than 10%. Okay. So in 5 years, what we've got is, you can see this spread across all the states, and that's in just 5 years' time. If we go another 5 years, so 10 years, then the whole of America is now 10 to 14%, and we've had to put another category in, 15 to 19% of the population of each of these states is 30 pounds overweight. Okay, 30 pounds overweight. So that's a lot, right? If you think 14 pounds is a stone, you're talking 2 stone overweight, and you can imagine the majority of that will be fat weight. By year 2000, we've had to put another one up there, so it's over 20% now. So over 20% of the population in these states are 30 pound overweight, and there's very little. There's only this one here, which I think is Colorado, which is 10%, 10 to 14%. Everywhere else is 15 or above. By 2005, we've had to put more on, all the way up to 30% of the population being over 30 pounds. And then the last one I've got is 2010, so just a couple of years ago, and you can see that it's pretty alarming, really. 20% or more, the whole of America. Okay, the US is obviously, we see a lot of research in the US about it, but other nations are catching up, right? We've only got ourselves to blame with the type of food that we're consuming, but it is made easy for us, and what we have to do is kind of just take a good hard look at what we're doing, and get our health in check. So I just thought this was a good way of showing you what's going on, and it's only going to get worse unless we do something about it. Okay, so here's the good stuff. Let's look at our exercise options. Now, obviously, you have your DVDs, okay, which gives you some great metabolic exercises, so you can kind of construct your own program, so your own 3 sessions per week, TED on for the 4 weeks, and then you've got loads and loads of exercises to create and progress with as many different sessions as you want. So I hope you really grab hold of that DVD and do it at least 3 times a week, and really enjoy the whole process, and make sure that you take it up each week until you're doing 50-10s on week 4. Okay. And I'm going to explain now why we're doing that kind of training, or why I've asked you to do that kind of training that you've got on your DVD. Okay. Now, nutrition is 85, 90% of weight loss. Okay, so 80 to 90% of your weight loss goal will be achieved by sorting out your nutrition. So, when we're talking about sort of 15-20% of it coming from exercise, you might be thinking, well, okay, that I may as well just concentrate on my nutrition and forget the exercise. Well, unfortunately, we are talking about health, and you do need exercise to improve your health. Okay, and the right type of exercise is going to make you lose fat a hell of a lot quicker. Okay, I think this caption just sums it up quite nicely. Okay, because a lot of people that come to me say they don't have time for exercise. So if you haven't got time for exercise, then you're going to die, basically. So it's quite a good caption, but it's quite poignant. and I think that we need to make time for exercise. So the DVD is based on you doing just 3 45-minute sessions per week. So it's not a big ask, and you just build that up over the 4 weeks. There's lots of other types of training we can throw into that at a later stage, but at the moment that will be enough to get you going, because it's probably a different type of training than you've previously done. What you may have done is gone to a gym or signed up with a gym before, and you would have seen this sort of environment where you just have row on row of cardio machines, machine weights, and you might get the sort of bodybuilder type area in one section of the gym where most of the ladies will avoid at all costs. They'd be much happier going into the big aerobic studios, doing step aerobics or aerobics classes, dance classes, Zumba classes. Yeah, and these classes are fun, but when it comes to weight loss, they're pretty shocking. Okay, they don't actually do much for your weight loss. It takes a long time. You'll probably notice that if you go to these classes, and you may have gone to the classes for quite a long time, you'll notice that there's not a great deal of change in body shape, even though these people are giving their all, 3-4 times a week. There's not a lot of change in their body shape. And for me, if I was to exercise like that and not get a change in my body shape, I would be distraught. Okay, I want to see changes in my body shape within 2 weeks of actually changing up my program. If I don't see a change in my body shape, then I would be doing something else. Okay, so I said before, it takes 4 weeks for you to sort of get a new habit formulated, and it will take you approximately 2 weeks to see a change in your body shape. By the end of the program, you're going to see some significant changes. All right, so if you stick to the program 100%, I think you're going to be very pleased with what you get. Okay, so this kind of training here, all right, we see it every time. Every time you go into a mainstream gym, you'll see it. You'll see all the cross trainers and treadmills being used by hordes of people and doing this moderate intensity exercise, maybe reading a book, chatting to the friends, watching TV. If you exercise correctly at the right intensity, you will not be able to talk to your neighbour or watch TV or read a book. Okay, and this is the problem with this is the problem really with the industry today, right? We haven't they don't really talk to you about nutrition, and they give you the wrong kind of exercise prescription. Okay, so these are, in my opinion, are generally 2 reasons why people don't get the goals that they desire when they join up for a gym. Okay, the first is that they don't understand the key nutritional principles and how certain foods trigger hormone responses in the body that make it impossible for the body to give up unwanted fat, number one. And then the second reason is that most people train at the incorrect intensity. Okay, so it's vitally important you understand that nutrition is key. So it doesn't matter if you train 5-6 times a week, you're not going to get the result you want unless you sort your nutrition out. And when you do go to the gym, less is more, right? Make sure that you train at the right intensity and then recover. So training 3 times at the right intensity will do much more for you than going 5-6 times a week and doing the wrong stuff. All right. Okay. Now, I've been a trainer for I don't know, a very long time, 15 years now. I've been a trainer, and I've had a studio, as video one said, I have had a studio for 6-7 years, and one of the things I try and do is I always try and make my training fun. Okay, I think that if you go to a gym and you're lifting 3 sets of 15, move on to the next, 3 sets of 15, move on to the next, it's so boring. Okay, we've got to make training fun. So we want to make it fast, we want to make it furious, we want to make it results driven, but we also want to make it fun. You've got to enjoy doing it. Okay, and I try and make as much play as I can. I get the body moving get you moving your bodies as best we can in open spaces. So for me, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. And I just try and get as much enjoyment out of the sessions as we possibly can from my studio, and hopefully you'll enjoy the sessions that you've got on your DVD a little bit, although that's more restricted because it's designed for you to do anywhere, so in your living room, etc. So this is my studio that we have up in Harrogate. This is the actual group training system that we do. So we kind of use the floor as a functional space. We kind of have created an environment, as you can see here, just so that people walk in, it doesn't feel like a gym. There's no treadmills, there's no equipment in this gym at all, or fixed stationary equipment, I should say. These little suspension trainers we work with kettlebells, power bags, dumbbells, medicine balls, and we kind of just get everyone running around and enjoying themselves, okay? But then we do the same print. We've got the same idea as what you're doing with your DVD, in that you kind of progress week on week, and then we change it every month. So we change the system every month, so it keeps the body guessing and keeps the customer guessing. And we also use heart rate monitoring. So this TV here will display the heart rates of all the people that are training. And what I want you to do, if you haven't got if you don't train with a heart rate monitor, I want you to get a heart rate monitor, okay? It doesn't have to be expensive. You can pick them up pretty cheap now. If you're working in a gym, you can just get a heart rate band, okay, and it will come up on the machines you're working, if that's the way you're going to do it. But it's much better if you just get one with a watch, so you can do it when you're doing your DVD at home and know where your heart rate is working at. Because when you're working metabolically, which is what the DVD is about, you're going to be working between 75 and 85% of your max heart rate, and that's where you need to be working. So if you're doing an exercise and it's not getting you anywhere near, you need to change that exercise and make it harder. If on the other hand you're working, it's taking you to 100%, you need to regress that exercise so that you're working 75 to 85%. This is so vital to your achieving the goals that you want to achieve. So you can just hold your pulse and see what it is in your rest intervals, but when you get up to 50-10, you haven't got time to check your pulse. So I think that it would be a worthwhile investment for you. If you want me to get hold of any for you, I can get hold of Suunto ones, because they're the best on the market and they're what I use. But really, Polar or Suunto are the two best. But if you just get a heart rate monitor, just so you know where you're working, I would thoroughly recommend it. Okay, so spring is almost near, and when summer comes, it's nice to get out in the outdoors. You could do your exercises pretty well, so you can get out and do them in the sunshine, do them in the park. But also do the things you enjoy. All right, do that session 3 times a week, and then on a weekend, get out and be active. It's important that you get your body moving as often as possible. Don't let those 3 times 45-minute sessions rule your training protocol. Get out and do some cycling, do some hiking, do some trekking on a weekend. Grab a bunch of friends that like to go out and do some rambling. Don't always have to meet socially and go out to eat or go out for a booze up. Okay, you can meet, and it's actually really enjoyable to meet a bunch of friends and engage in some sort of fitness activity. Okay, so I've put this slide up because what this is obviously sport. Now, if you're into your sports, great, get involved. But the reason I've put this up is that you get a really nice level of camaraderie and support with your group, and this is what I touched on towards the beginning of this video. My whole emphasis on my new studio that I've launched is group training, small group training, semi-private training, where we work within a group. I've come away from PT a lot now, because what I found is that we actually get much better results in our small group training than we do with PT alone. And one of the fundamental reasons for this is because people use each other for support. So I had a PT studio for like 6 years until I changed up to this one. So I'm not saying PT doesn't work, or if you have got a personal trainer, great, and you like working with a personal trainer. I'm not saying it's the worst thing. I'm just saying that I've changed it for these fundamental reasons, that you get group support and you get much better results because of that. People are coming to meet you, but they're coming to meet their friends too. And they're kind of who they can relate with. They can relate with these other people that are sharing the journey with them a lot more than the trainer that is 20 years old and hasn't even got any trouble with their metabolism yet. Okay, and what I also like about this group program that we're doing now is that there are a few of you all doing the same thing, going through the same process. You all want to lose weight. You're all doing the cleanse together. And what I want you to do is share your views and share your views with each other on our forum. Okay, so you will all be getting an email that will give you a link to our forum, and I want you to use it. Okay, any questions you have for me, any questions you want to just throw out there, use it. Share your photos if you want to. It would be really great if you get, share your results as you do your journey, but put the photos up there. It's only going to be for us on this group to see. So, do it. Get the support of others. It makes a massive difference. So here's my hierarchy of fat loss then. This is what it's all about, guys. This is something that I've formulated. It's hopefully very simple, but it's something that I've formulated over years of experience of working with clients and working with professional football players and rugby players and athletes. It's all the same stuff. It has the same principles. What you've got is, number one, is mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, you haven't got a rat's ass chance of getting any sort of fat loss at all, okay? So you've got to have the right mindset. You've got to want it. You've got to know why you want it, and you've got to have that passion to not stop until you get your goal. All right. Along the way, you will get saboteurs. You will get people, generally your so-called friends, that will say, "Oh, what are you eating that for?" Or, "Why are you not drinking for 2 weeks? That silly one won't do you any harm." Or, "Oh, have a piece of chocolate, it'll be okay. You can get back on it tomorrow." You will have lots of these saboteurs along the way, okay? And they will be jealous of you when you stick to it. If you have that kind of attitude that you want to succeed, then you will succeed. All right, it's the most powerful thing. That's why number 2 is see number 1, because the first 2, it's that important. So get some social support. Obviously work with me, work with the group on this course. Tell all your friends and family what you're doing and why. And if they try and sabotage you, do not see them until you finish your course. Okay, it's that simple. You need to just put them out of your life until you get where you want to, because they are not going to help you. Okay. The third one then is hormonal balance. Hormonal balance is so important. Now, calorie restriction will not help fix hormonal balance. The food, the type of food we eat, it elicits a different metabolic and hormone response on the body. All right. So, for instance, if you're eating simple carbohydrates or sugar on their own, it can result in a rapid surge in blood sugar levels. Okay, now we're going to talk about blood sugar and the importance of balancing your blood sugars for weight loss in the next video. So I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but basically, this rapid surge in blood sugars, what that does is it requires the pancreas to release a hormone called insulin. Now, this will bring your blood sugar back down to normal levels, and it actually does its job really well. And so when your blood sugar goes low, the pancreas then releases another hormone called glucagon. Okay, and this instructs the body to take excess fat and convert it back to blood sugar for the body to use as fuel. So you've got insulin being released to lower your blood sugar, and you've got glucagon being released to raise your blood sugar. So your body's constantly trying to balance out your glucagon and your insulin, so that you've got the energy. So you're nice and balanced. That basically those two hormones need to be in balance. So they're constantly working against each other. What we do is, if we have a high sugary breakfast cereal or Special K or some nonsense like that in the morning, then we'll need to have perhaps a coffee or a piece of fruit or something to give us a bit of a get up and go in mid-morning. We might have a jacket potato, think we're being healthy, so we might go for a jacket potato and beans, even though that's probably the worst thing you can do. Massive sugar rush, then you get a big slump in sugar. So by mid-afternoon, you're going, "Oh my God, I need something," and you're craving sugar again. So you'll crave maybe a chocolate bar or another cup of coffee, and it goes on, it goes on, and it goes on. And it's a cycle basically of this sugar craving eating cycle that can actually lead to insulin resistance and diabetes. But I'm going to go into that next video, okay? But you can understand the importance of hormones and that what you eat disrupts your hormone balance. So your hormone balance is basically controlled via the correct sort of nutrition. So that's next on the list. So we've got mindset, hormone balance, correct nutrition, and then we go into the basically the 6 different types of exercise that will get you the result you're after. So MRT training, metabolic resistance training, is number 1. It's the number 1 thing you can do for fat loss. It is basically interval training with weights. So you are building some lean tissue at the same time as fat burning. So we're not going to turn you into Arnold Schwarzenegger by training like this. What you're going to do is you're going to keep hold of your lean tissue while you're burning fat. Now, as I said before, steady rate cardio training, which incidentally you can see it as number 10. So that kind of stuff they're doing that I showed you pictures of on the cross trainer, on the treadmills and things, that is number 10 on my list. That only works if you're doing everything above it on the list. If you do it on its own, you know you're going to be waiting a very long time to see results. So, and what that does, I've lost my train of thought for a sec, but what that does is it actually, you can use muscle for fuel. And so you'll see a lot of long distance runners, if you have a look at their physiques, most of them are, yes, okay, they are skinny, but you know, most of them are see-through. Yeah, they've got no tone, or they don't look healthy. They actually look old and skin and bone. And what we want is you to be radiant and have a nice healthy body. Keep hold of your lean tissue, because the lean tissue is the only tissue. It's the only tissue that will actually burn fat for fuel. So you'll boost your metabolism. You'll create what we're after, which is a body which is a fat furnace, and it is the best way of training. So metabolic resistance training, or MRT training, then basically refers to conditioning exercises intended to increase the storage and delivery of energy for the activity. Yeah, so it's kind of short bursts of high intensity weight training with rest periods. Okay. We've then got high intensity interval training, anaerobic and aerobic. So these are kind of negative intervals, or so if you were training hard with, say, burpees, for instance, burpees get the heart rate up very, very quickly and they're quite intense. So you might do burpees for 30 seconds and then have 30 seconds rest, or you might have 40 seconds of burpees with 20 seconds rest, which is we call a negative. So you're working really hard and you're not really using oxygen. You can't really use oxygen. Yeah, it's short burst activity, high intensity. High intensity interval training, aerobic training, would be where you have longer rest periods. So you might work hard for a minute and then get a couple of minutes rest. So the interval training is long enough that you will need oxygen, but you'll have a longer recovery time. So these 3 I use all the time, these 3 types of training. Okay. Then next on the list is obviously correct strength conditioning. Now, you are doing mainly metabolic training and anaerobic training with your DVD, and we will talk about these other 3 and bringing those into your sessions probably at a later stage. But strength training is vitally important because, again, we want to keep the lean tissue there. I'm going to explain why, the fundamental importance of having lean tissue and not worrying so much about the weight on the scales, which is probably what you do. So we're going to talk about that in a second. So steady rate high intensity or steady rate moderate intensity aerobic training is something that you would do as an extra, probably on a weekend. So you'd do your MRT training 2-3 times a week, and then you'd do some aerobic work as well in an ideal world. Okay, so fundamentally then, this is why it is so good. when you do steady state aerobic training, it takes around about 25-30 minutes to burn through your glycogen stores and then start using fat for fuel. So if you're only if you're on the treadmill for 30 minutes then you go home, then you haven't done a lot of fat burning, okay? But the fat burn you will get is in this recovery time, which actually, this bottom line here is your metabolic rate, so how many calories you burn at rest to stay alive doing nothing. Within an hour after training, steady rate training, you'll be back down to your basal metabolic rate, okay? When you do high intensity interval training or MRT training in particular, you know, your heart rates, your intensity is up, rest, up, rest, up, rest, up, rest. So it burns through your glycogen a lot quicker. You can get a little bit of lactic acid build up towards the end of the session, because it is that you know, it's a different intensity to what you're probably used to doing. But what it means is you get through your glycogen stores quicker, so you're burning fat quicker in the session. And then because of the type of training that it is and the intensity that it is, it actually takes 12 to 24 hours before you are back down to your basal metabolic rate. So you could leave the gym, go home, sit on your backside watching TV, and still be burning calories. So for the same duration of time that you spent in the gym, 20-30 minutes, you're going to get a much better, sort of 3-4 times better session. Yeah. You also, with this type of training, because you're doing weight training, get DOMS, and you don't get DOMS when you just go out for a steady run on the treadmill. Okay, you get DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, if you do the right sort of intensity training. Now, some of you will get DOMS in the first week if you're not used to training. Some of you that are used to training probably might not get DOMS too much, just with this what we're doing at the moment. But generally, DOMS is good occasionally, right? You don't want it every single time you train, because it's not, it's not going to be very pleasant for you. But DOMS occasionally, so especially in the first week, you're probably going to get 48 to 72 hours extra before your metabolic rate is at its base. Okay, so that is the importance of metabolic conditioning. That is why we do it. Okay, so we do have a couple of examples here of some studies that just show the importance or why metabolic conditioning is a preference over steady state aerobic training. So for instance, group 1 do 40 minutes steady state aerobic training, group 2 perform 20 minutes of interval training, and after 15 weeks the steady state group gained 0.5 kilograms of fat, and the group 2 on average lost 2.5 kgs of fat. Now it shows a significant difference, but to me, 2.5 kgs, wow, in 15 weeks, I'd still be saying that's rubbish, right? But I just wanted to put that up there for you to see the difference. Okay, and there's another one there, so if you want to read it, then just press pause, read through it, and see what we get. But basically, group 1 here, who do some endurance interval training, group 2 do steady state aerobics, so we're talking about the aerobic training now, no weights are involved. Group 1 lost 450% more body fat than group 2, and that's doing the interval training, the HIIT training. Yeah, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, so here's the fundamental reason why we want to keep hold of muscle, why I keep saying to you, we want to keep our lean tissue, The reason being that lean tissue will obviously burn more calories. So if you've got 0.5 grams of muscle, for instance, burns an extra 50 calories per day, alright? So 3 kgs of muscle is an extra 300 calories burnt per day for free. So you will burn extra, you become more metabolic, alright, the more muscle you have. But like I said, I'm not trying to turn you into Arnold Schwarzenegger, we're just trying to lean you up. Keep your lean tissue, burn the fat. Now, you've probably heard before muscle weighs more than fat, okay? It doesn't actually weigh more, because a pound is a pound, right? But what you must understand is that when you jump on a scale, sometimes the scales might not budge, but you may have dropped inches. And so I don't want you to get too hung up on the scales. The scales mean very, very little unless you've got body fat percentage. Because what you can do is you could lose, 4 inches off your waist but yet only a couple of pounds on the scales. You could drop a dress size and be only, you know, a few pounds lighter when you might have in your head that you want to be a stone lighter. So your goal setting is very important that you select the right goal, and it should be based around fat, so fat loss or fat percentage, and measurements. So measurements, actual measurements on your body, because you're going to do your measurements every 2 weeks, or size of the clothes. Okay, what you must remember is that a pound is a pound. So 0.5 grams of muscle is the same size as a large strawberry. 0.5 grams of fat is the same size as a block of butter. So fat takes up 3 times as much area, surface area, as muscle. Okay? What you've got to remember is, when you're on this journey, when you get to your goal, you're not going to be wearing a set of scales round your neck that says, I weigh 10 stone. Woohoo! Okay? What you're going to be doing is you're going to be walking down the street in clothes that are 2 sizes smaller and looking radiant, and people are going to say, wow, you've lost weight. And you're going to say, do you think? Alright, that is what you're after. You want to get a reaction, you want to feel good, you want to feel confident, and you get it by keeping hold of your lean tissue and shedding fat. Alright, hopefully that makes perfect sense to you, and if you need to make a change to your goals now, do it now. Okay, so all there is to it then is your home-based sessions are all on your DVD. I want you to think about getting a heart rate monitor, because I want you to work between 75 and 85% of your max heart rate. Now, most heart rate monitors will calculate that out for you, but you do, if you want to, it's not 220 minus your age, which I know a lot of people would do for heart rate, but it's actually what you want to be doing is your max heart rate minus your age, and then minus your rest heart rate. Then times that by the percentage that you want to be working at, plus your rest heart rate again. So these are that's the calculation for doing 75% and 85%. Okay, so you must have your rest heart rate, so in order to get a more accurate reading. So I'm going to leave that up there for a second, just for you to kind of take note of that. And really, all we've got to do is, I just want to say thank you for taking your time to read through, to watch this video. Make sure that your goals are really, you absolutely nailed your goals. You know what your goals are. You know what you're looking to achieve. Stick to your nutrition and follow that cleanse protocol. Good luck with it. You're going to feel a little bit sluggish probably for a day or two, but then you'll come out the other end feeling magnificent. I want you to please jot down any questions you have in the forum, because it's going to be a little bit difficult for me if you all keep emailing me. So if we keep them in the forum, then you know we can it might be that someone else can answer before I get there, because I may have answered that before. So yeah, let's start using the forum, connect with each other, and connect with me, and good luck, and I'll speak to you next week. Cheers guys, bye bye.